Welcome back, Junior and Senior, Nothing But Sports podcast. We got a lot of sports going on, especially tomorrow, Saturday. We got UFC, we have college football, and we have the boxing event with Canelo. So I want to kind of, I'm going to defer a lot to my dad on this because as far as it comes to combat sports, I love watching combat sports. I just watch more of the pay-per-views or the big, the matchups that I see that are big that I like. But he's more well versed as far as watching a lot more of these guys than I have. So he'll be able to break this down a little better than me. But I will kind of, toss it up to him and let him kind of go from there. We're gonna, like I said, go through all the fights on this card. There's 7 fights on this boxing card. And like I said, I was really excited to see this or for this fight because there's a lot of, like I said, names I've heard that I haven't seen or guys that I have seen a couple times. So that's kind of how I rate any boxing pay-per-view is what guys can I recognize based off their name that I've seen, and then also guys that have been talked about that I haven't seen. So the first match on this card is
Stephen Fulton versus Carlos Cash.
uh,
I'm looking at the whole lineup right now.
oh well, you went past the first two.
Well, this is the main card. You probably done pretty.
Oh, all right. Well, hey.
Just telling you.
I've seen the Richard Medina guy. I feel like I've seen him. I've seen him before.
I've seen him a couple times. Who's he fighting?
Jonathan Lopez, who was unbeaten at this juncture.
Medina's he's slightly more seasoned, a tad, but Lopez is a high energy. It's more of a high energy fighter in terms of punches he averages thrown per round. Medina's gonna have to use his smartness. Lopez is undefeated for a reason now.
I feel like I've seen him fight too.
I have. He's energetic. He brings some combinations to the table. He's gonna have to be Medina's gonna have to be a little more active than he is in his recent fights. I give Lopez the slight edge on him. I think he outpoints him real good. You could be looking at a possible slugfest between the two, but like I said, Medina's he's gotten into quite a few of those. So I'm gonna pick Lopez as far as outscoring.
I hate when I can't remember stuff and it's on the tip of my tongue. Who is the biggest fight that Medina's had? Because I just remember him having a pretty good, a decent opponent. I don't remember who it was, but I for sure remember watching him face somebody big at some point. But I can't.
Well, he's faced Benavidez.
That's what it was. That's what it was. Yeah, I remember now.
That's one of his. Yeah.
Yeah, that was the one I watched. On one of those cards.
It looked pretty good.
So
it wasn't bad. It wasn't. But yeah.
So you got Lopez winning.
I got Lopez outpointing Medina.
In the 8th
He's a tad more sharper than Benavidez. Benavidez was slightly with his punches. Put them together fairly well, but not the way this kid does. So I just think it's not going to be an ass kicking. It's just going to be, I give him the unanimous decision now.
Okay.
What we got next?
Roman Villa versus Ricardo Salas. 10-round bout. 2 welterweights going at it. Have you seen either of these guys at all?
Villas versus who?
Ricardo Salas. I don't think I've ever seen either of those guys fight. So this will be a first for these two guys, as far as me watching.
Ricardo Salinas.
Salas. He gets Salinas from Salas. We haven't
I'm
seen.
not familiar with these two,
Yeah, that's
so I'm not. I don't want to. I don't like to make picks against two fighters that I'm not comfortable seeing from either one. I don't want to just throw a pick out there because
Right.
that'll discredit this podcast. It doesn't make sense.
Right. We don't want to do that. All right. Next match. Stephen Fulton Jr. versus Carlos Castro.
Now I'm gonna tell you,
I believe
got Fulton over Castro. Fulton is nice, man. Stephen Fulton is nice. Castro is pretty good. Hand speed. The hand speed is there. Here's the thing with Fulton. Fulton can get hit.
I feel like I've seen him before.
He's undefeated as well. 20-something and 20 plus fights, no losses. But his body shots, he's got body shots. He mixes up his punches very well. Brandon Figueroa definitely found that out. He's fought a couple other. He's fought in some top tier guys. Not the big elites, but Aguilera. He's fought some guys. He's got combination punches. He loves to go to the body head. He extends his jab. Now, thing about him is he holds his hands down too much for my liking, and that's when the opponents is able to. That's when him eating shots comes into play. He does that Roy Jones thing. He likes to hold his arms down a little bit too much. But overall, I like him against Carlos Castro. I think we could be looking at a TKO later in the later rounds. So give me Stephen Fulton.
All right, next match. Now we start to get into some of the guys that I've seen here or there. Rolando Romero versus Manuel James. 10-round match. I think I've seen Romero seen Romero fight before.
Well, if you did, then you definitely saw his last knockout when he got blasted and he didn't know where he was at.
Whoa.
Yeah. Raleigh. Man, I'm a Raleigh fan. And see, he hasn't been right since Tank knocked him out.
That's what it is. That's what it is.
I think he's like 1-2, something like that, or 1-3 since Tank did knock him out, to be exact. In fact, the very last fight that he just had recently, in preparation for that fight, he got dropped twice in sparring, and it went viral. Now, the funny thing about this is he should be able to beat this kid. I'm saying he should, but he's going up against a younger version of him that can knock you out as well. He has a man. He's got a left and right hook. He could put you to sleep in either hand. Riley needs a knockout victory to salvage whatever's left of his career at a young age, because his last 3 or 4 fights just haven't it's just, I don't know, something about him. He's all offense, no defense. Like when you hit him, he goes down. And I just think a part of that has to do with him not being able to get it right since being blasted by Tank. Which there's no shame in that because everybody got blasted by Tank. He was just having to be a statistic of being knocked out. He was one of those guys. And I need people to understand something. He did fairly good against Tank because he was touching Tank. Go back and watch the film. They got into a mix. When he started to trade with Tank, Tank was getting smacked. The only problem is he doesn't possess Tank's power. And nobody does. So when Tank was hitting him flush, it was good night Irene. But Tank was getting lit up too. Like I said, he just wasn't able to really hurt Tank. But man, I wouldn't want to be a judge scoring them cards if that fight would have went the distance because Riley was touching him. So I give Riley, I'm gonna go with Riley in this one in a statement fight against Manuel James.
Okay, awesome. That's another guy I would like to see. His Tank Davis. I've actually never seen him in a full fight. I've just never actually watched him in a full fight yet. So
well, it's because he's too busy knocking people out.
No, I've never seen him. Like I've never sat down and
oh man,
watched one of the pay-per-views. I know who he is. I've watched his highlights. I've just never on one of the
to watch him live is a treat. You gotta try.
Yeah,
you
so
gotta. You definitely have to tune in.
So his next, I'll definitely be, obviously from here on, I'll be paying attention to everybody. But
oh no, he's definitely.
I have to.
He's worth the price of an admission ticket.
I'm excited for whatever his next fight is. I'll be interested to get a good look at him. Next, a guy that I've heard some good things about, and we've got Caleb Plant versus Trevor McCumbee. This is a middleweight. Yeah, this is a middleweight fight. And a guy in Trevor McCumbee who's undefeated at this point.
28-0.
This is for the WBA super middleweight title. Who do you have winning this matchup? I've heard some good things about Caleb Plant. I've never actually seen him fight, but so I'm excited to see.
Well, the last fight I saw him in was against Canelo, and it didn't end well.
Okay.
And it didn't end well at all.
I think I might have seen him actually. I take that back. That was probably the fight I saw him in. But other than that, I haven't seen him fight.
I like Trevor McCumbee in this one. I think McCumbee can actually hurt Plant. Not the way Canelo did. But man, I tell you what, you know what? I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna go on not really on a limb. I will say this. Out of all the fights on this card, this might be a bang fest between these two. Their styles is almost similar, and McCumbee packs a punch as well as Plant does, and they both just have that knack for throwing combinations and getting in there. No tiptoeing around, no patty cake. I think these two will square up, and they will probably wage war against one another. I think out of all of the matchups on this card, and they got some pretty good ones that we're calling them right now, this one might surprisingly be the fight to definitely not miss out of the whole deal. I mean that when I say that, man, because Trevor McCumbee, I have to check his actual rap sheet, I did a brief do-over just now, but I mean at 28, no, you literally have to see all 28 people that he fought. When it comes to Caleb Plant, the only thing that comes to mind is Canelo, and like I said, Canelo Canelo just touched him upstairs and downstairs, and it wasn't good. It was good, it just wasn't. But he stood in there with, and I think that's another reason what led to his doubt. Like, you just can't stand in front of Canelo and have a bang fest. You can't, not with that guy. You got to know what you're doing if you're going to do that. These are two guys that's going to get in front of one another, and it's going to be one of those, it's going to be a classic shot for shot, combination for combination fight. And I got Trevor McCumbee to be the new, the new WBA interim super middleweight champion, because it's for the interim title, which means neither one of them has the belt. So this is for a belt. And I think it's going to be put around Trevor's waist.
All right. We got our co-main event. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that first name.
Lara.
Lara versus Danny Garcia. I've actually seen Danny Garcia in a couple fights, so I'm a little more familiar with him. This is a 12-round event. And who do you got winning this one?
I got Lara, because Danny Garcia pisses me off a lot. And the reason why is because he's a slow starter. He starts off slow, and he gets, for some reason now, when he waits until the last minute, and before you know it, you think he's damn near about to pull it off. I tell you what, he's one of the, still to this day, actively boxing, one of, not the, but definitely one of the best combination punches in the game. He puts it together real nice, even at the age that he is now, even at this point in his career. The problem is that once he starts getting touched, he's not as active. He's a slow starter. I saw that when he fought Errol Spence. He had no answer for Errol Spence, which, I mean, I just don't understand why, especially after seeing what Crawford did to him. He's a straightforward pressure fighter, and Danny could have. And also, Danny Garcia is a counterpuncher. He likes to wait for you to make a mistake, and he makes you pay for that mistake. You can't do that with Lara. You're gonna have to be more active than that against Lara. Lara's been in there with Canelo, so. This is an interesting matchup, but I got Lara winning the fight.
Okay. And, of course, we get to our main event. We have Berlanga versus Canelo. I figure you're going to have Canelo win this matchup, but what I and the people want to know is, how will this go all 12 rounds? And how do you see it playing out?
I don't see it going 12 rounds. I see it going just past the middle into the later rounds. After it depends. How many body shots can Berlanga take before he actually shuts it down? I think somewhere past the mid rounds of the fight, going into the later rounds, those body shots are going to take a toll, and you're either going to get a flat knockout, or you're going to get a ref stopping the fight because he's taking too much punishment. I was told that he's physically drained at 168. Canelo walks around like that in his sleep, and we talking raw, solid punching power that's getting ready to enter Berlanga's world. I'm sorry, but nobody actively boxing in today in any weight class lands a body shot like Canelo. I have to see it to believe it, but the man takes away your ribs better than anybody in the sport right now. Anybody. And Berlanga, the question is, can he take body shots? Can he, when he does he have the ability to readjust, change up his game plan, and make Canelo work for it? And I don't think he does. I just think he's going up against a much more higher caliber fighter in Canelo. He's bitten off way more than he can chew, and it's going to show tomorrow night when he gets him out of there in about round. It's going to be between rounds 8 and 10. He'll be out of there. I don't think this goes the distance, though. This ain't a 12-round fight.
Yes. We again, big weekend. We have a lot going on. Of course, we'll be tuned into everything, and we'll be having our reactions when we have the opportunity. It's going to be a while because, after Saturday night, we get through all the events. We got to hightail it on over for our Cowboys Saints watch party the very next day in the morning, honestly. So it's going to be jam-packed, wall-to-wall Saturday and Sunday. So I'll give reactions when I can, likely Monday if we can do some here or there, quick ones. But I'm excited for everything, and like I said, I'm hoping that we get great football games, we get a good UFC event, and hopefully, we get a good boxing event with a lot of these guys that I've heard of and that I've seen. Even in Canelo's situation, he might he might clearly be. Sorry, we're watching the UNLV Kansas and the Kansas State Arizona games simultaneously. But yeah, hoping Canelo can, or not Canelo, but Berlanga can. He talked a lot of stuff. He's been talking a lot of stuff. So I hope he brings it. And much like what I saw when Crawford had his fight the other couple weeks ago, and now I was just shocked that I forget that guy's name that he faced, but
Madrimov.
Madrimov. In my opinion, it was a really close fight. And
whoever scored that fight, 114 and 112, need to be checked for drugs.
Yeah, the two judges that scored it that way, I was surprised. But I would love to see a good back and forth, clean fight between these two guys. That would be great. But a knockout would be fun too, because it's always nice to see a nice, clean knockout. But what I don't want to see is nothing. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But that's going to be all the podcasting we're going to be doing for the next couple days. We'll be back next week for, like I said, all reactions to everything, and get you ready for next week as well. But thanks for touchdown UNLV right before the half. Whoa. But yeah, we're gonna get out here and watch these games. Enjoy these Friday night games because they're really good, right? As so far, and then we'll catch up with you guys next week.